Good afternoon, Kenton community. My name is Sabatino Samato. I'm your superintendent, and this is your weekly connection update. And yes, I did say good afternoon on this Thursday afternoon because our top story, what's on the mind of everyone, what's happening with school tomorrow, I'll get to that in just one moment. I do encourage you to pick up the connection, though, and look at these other stories. For example, a piece on report cards and a piece on an important message to our athletic families. Of course, our school and district highlights. We have a new section on safety tips, and we round off with our recognition. So let's get going. First, the question on everyone's mind, what's happening with school tomorrow? And unfortunately, families, with the weather that's projected, the forecast, we are closing the Kenton School District for Friday, November 18th. That is tomorrow. All during the day activities and after school activities are canceled. But this evening, Thursday, as of right now, those events are still taking place for the most part. In other words, music events that are happening, I want everyone to be prepared that those will be taking place tonight. But if the weather does shift, I will make an announcement at around 5 o'clock canceling those activities. But as of right now, those activities are on. That's what the forecast looks like, that we'll still be able to have those early evening activities here in the district. So just to reiterate, this evening on. Tomorrow, off. Tomorrow evening, off. Saturday, we will make an announcement about Saturday tomorrow. We'll send that out to everyone in our school district. Now, that gives us really the important message of what's happening right now, but I also want to demystify to everyone the procedure for closing school and what we're doing and what we're thinking when we do this. First, just like we did today, it's very important that we get this message out as soon as humanly possible to make the best informed decision that we can. Like we're getting it out today for tomorrow. Now, that's not always possible. Sometimes we have to call it at the last moment, the morning of. But when possible, we're going to get that message out so that parents can do everything that they need to do, families, to prepare for kiddos being home the next day. But remember, we only have 4 emergency days in our calendar. Well, why 4? People will ask, Samato, what do you mean 4? Well, that 4 indicates that with those 4 days, we could still meet that 180-day requirement from New York State to be active with instruction. That's what that 4 indicates. Now, in our 4, when we call a snow day in those 4, we will not have a remote model. Those are snow days, families prepare. We worry about childcare. It's very difficult sometimes to shift to remote. So for families to get that coverage for the kiddo to actually be online and learning. So during those 4 days, we will not utilize remote instruction. After those 4 days, if we ever had to use more than 4 days, we would absolutely shift for any of those emergency days to a remote model. So it's important to know whenever we have these events that we're projecting, even though we're not out of days yet, we'll always encourage all of our kids, our staff, to take everything home with them, to be prepared. We know living in Buffalo, we can never know what's going to happen next week, and I always want us to be prepared just in case. So kiddos will be coming home with all of their equipment this evening, even though it's only projected as a day off for tomorrow, the snow day for tomorrow. We will monitor this, and we'll keep our community informed as we progress. And it's really important. I encourage you to pick up this connection and look at everything that we have under school cancellation for Friday. Because there's even a little piece on making sure that your information is updated so that you get our notifications. There's a little piece that tells you where else you can look besides our website, news agencies, and what our trusting sources are that will carry our message out to our families and our community. So really pick up the connection and focus on that this week. Some great news. Report cards are posted for grades 5 through 12. There's a piece on that I encourage you to read about. Also, we have an important video message there for athletic families regarding officials. This was released by Section 6. It's a very important piece. I really encourage, especially since we're home tomorrow, take the opportunity to look at this as a family, kiddos, parents, grandparents, extended family, because it is so important that we maintain our class and character as a Kenton community, and that's what this focuses on. Then we have this new section called Safety Tips for Families. I announced just within these past couple weeks that this was going to be a new section in our connection. And this week we focus on Snapchat. And folks, kids are into Snapchat all over our nation. It's not just a Kenton thing. But this safety tip tells and explains to parents that there are some safety things that parents can do, some parental controls in Snapchat that maybe some parents aren't aware of. So I really encourage you to pick up this part of the connection and read that about Snapchat. Then we go into our school and district highlights. We have highlights from the fall 2022 athletics season. We have our Kenmore East band welcoming special guest artist and Erie County Wind Ensemble. We have Sabres players visit Kenmore East for the Best Buddy Friendsgiving event. We then go into a section on U.S. iTech partners with Kenton for internship and job opportunities. Talking about keeping it in the community, that's a great story. Then we have a piece on Holmes Elementary teacher receiving the Buffalo State College Award. We have Hoover Elementary School, HSA hosts the Apex Fun Run. Franklin Elementary students participate in Boys on the Right Track 5K race. And all of these stories are just exemplars of all the great things that are happening within our district. Really pick up the connection and check that out. Speaking of great things happening, our special recognition this week goes out to our safety team. Did you know, all of our families, that our safety teams, our bus safety teams here in Kenton, once the school year starts, besides the fact we have a huge safety event over the summer where families can come to transportation and kids get to see about the buses, families see about the buses, all the safety tips that go into operating buses. Did you know that our safety team even goes around to all of our schools, even the schools in Kenton that are not our public schools, some of our private and parochial partners? Our safety team goes around into every elementary classroom and talks about bus safety. And there's so many things that all the kiddos need to hear. Even if they don't take the bus on a regular basis, they will absolutely take a bus at some time during their educational career to go on a field trip, to do visits, things like that. And this bus safety team focuses on everything. Just an example, where the danger zones are on or around the bus. And it's a great presentation. There's a piece on our team in there and the great work that they do. A real kudos to our transportation department. Just keep up the great work. And that brings us to the end of the connection this week. Folks, we know we already have a short week next week. Kiddos are only here on Monday and Tuesday. Remember that. For next week. We probably will not have a connection next week. So this is the last time I'm talking to you for the next 2 weeks. And it's a very important conversation that we continue to have about the safety of our district. This snow event is one example of something that is in the immediate, but continuing that communication, continuing the focus on safety as a priority, and continuing to do it together is absolutely the way that will keep Kenton moving forward. We will maintain that pride, we will keep our strength, and we'll absolutely continue moving Kenton forward as one community. Thank you very much for your attention, and please be safe this weekend.